Hey everyone, this is Austin from Diesel Bookstore in Del Mar. I'd like to recommend a couple of books to you, if you don't mind. The first book I'd like to recommend is The Good Soldier by Madox. This is a book that is perhaps more compelling for the way the story is told than the straightforward plot itself. The story is about an American couple and a British couple who become friends, but this friendship deteriorates over the course of 10 years and collapses as a friendship. And so the American husband is the narrator, and he's trying to understand what happened in over the course of these 10 years. And I think he, as the narrator, is what makes this book so great, because he presents himself as quite pure in his intentions, quite naive in his understanding of the other characters, and yet over time, as you read, you start to wonder if he's perhaps a little bit more manipulative and a little bit more insightful, both in the way that he tells the story to the reader and in the way that he understands the other characters. So it's kind of more about the way you interact with the narrator and the way that he tells the story by connecting events more based on the emotions that connect the events than the actual chronological order. So the plot is actually quite intricately constructed in the way it unfolds. And overall, I think this book is just deliciously written, and it's just like a joy to enjoy the language of it. So, The Good Soldier by Madox is my first book that I'm recommending. Next up, I'd like to recommend A Hero of Our Time by Mikhail Lermontov. I think this book is a nice read during the pandemic lockdown we're currently in, because on one hand it's an adventure story, it's quite short, and it's full of exciting incidents like duels and kidnappings and melodramatic love affairs. It's set in a very scenic location, which is the Caucasus Mountains in Russia, which are wonderfully evoked. And then there's also the other side of the story, or the other aspect to it, which is the character study of the protagonist. The protagonist is the ironically named A Hero of Our Time. He's much more of an anti-hero. You might even think he's a bit of a villain. He's egotistic and manipulative, even cruel a little bit, and yet he seems to lack a self-awareness of why his actions cause others to dislike him. And I think this lack of self-awareness is one of the nuances that makes him more sympathetic and more interesting as a protagonist, rather than just this marauding, Byronic anti-hero that he might on the surface appear to be. So that's my second recommendation now, A Hero of Our Time by Mikhail Lermontov. You can order these books and many others from Diesel Bookstore by ordering online or calling us on the phone. We can deliver to your house through the mail, or you can do a no-contact pickup at one of our store locations. All right, so I hope you are all staying healthy and staying safe, and thank you for listening.